So
Well,
that's
then,
good.
so tell me now, you were mentioning so many great things going on with Jeannie's legacy. People still, again, love to laugh, as you
Yeah.
said. So tell us what's on the horizon, what's
Well,
happening.
what we've done, it's tricky because we can't bring out a new DVD. Obviously,
Right.
we don't have Jeannie, but we have so much material, and she had written books. You will remember them. Uh,
Yeah.
in 1990 was her
Yeah.
first book, and it was called "Humor, the Magic of Jeannie."
Yes, I remember that. I've got
And
that
then
one.
about 5 years later, did one called Mayberry Humor
Yeah, I've got that one
across the
too.
USA. They were hardbound books,
Yeah.
so they've been out of print for many, many, many years. So what we did was we wanted to make them digital because they weren't. So that was the project. But then while doing that, we wrote the email list, the fan base, and said, do you want a physical book? Would you want that too? And a lot of them did. Said yes, they wanted a book. I think people are actually going back to books, if that makes any sense. It seems like
Yeah.
physical books are more popular. So we brought the book back out, and it wasn't, the words are Jeannie's words. Nothing's changed. We did footnotes and things so people understand what she meant because things have changed in 30 plus years.
Definitely. Yeah.
And so we brought out Humor, the Magic of Jeannie first, and it's a softbound book now, softback, as opposed to the original one was hardback. And so we brought those back and have sold almost all of that one.
Goodness.
And it's available digitally too. That
Right.
was the whole point. And then we did Mayberry Humor the same way, and we have a few more of it left because we did it later in the year. And but so that was two things. So then Jeannie had written an article. Well, she'd written in several local magazines over the years. People
Mm-hmm.
would want to, could you write us something on humor or something funny? So she wrote a lot of articles. And then about 12 or 15 years ago, she started writing for one of these pickup newspaper, like you pick it up at the
Yeah.
convenience
Is
stores
that
or
Southern
whatever.
Lady?
Yeah,
Southern
no, no,
Lady?
no. That's actually a magazine that
Oh,
has
okay.
done some things, and she spoke for them a lot. These are in the county next to our county, is where
Oh,
it's
okay.
called Southeast Gazette, and so
Mm-hmm.
she started writing every month in that, and so she's done that, and the Southeast Gazette still have them all. We have them all, and have can put them together. So what we're doing is compiling those into a book,
Oh,
which
nice.
will be available digitally and as a softbound book. Just a collection. Some of the articles were stories that that she told from the stage, and others were just funny things that happened that she never turned into stories, but they're were funny little anecdotes or funny little happenings, all based on things that happen because that's what she tells, as you know.
Yeah.
So that will probably, I'm hoping I don't, it won't be out by like Christmas or anything, but by the first of the year, we're
Yeah.
hoping that's ready. And we, be something people can purchase if they would like. Just as another something to have that's Jeannie's voice, but in a different format.
Well,
So,
I've always, and I think I know the story, but I don't know if everybody knows just how you all met. And maybe you've told it a gazillion times, everybody knows, but
well,
I I
I'm
think
sure
I
we've
know.
told it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually met, or I met her, remember her from Auburn because
Yeah.
I, as Jeannie will turn 80 September 21st.
Goodness.
Uh, and she always would tell how old she was and like to throw in, and Tony's a year older than I am. So, yes, you're right. So I started to Auburn in 60, and she came through in 61.
Hmm.
And she came through Rush, and she was very easy to remember. 6'2", funny, outgoing. So that's where I remember her. And then she proceeded to run for everything on campus. So
Yeah.
I remember her. She does not remember me in no way. But that's where we first met, before I first knew who Jeannie Swanner was her name then, who she was. Then we both ended up living in Burlington. And so in 76, she moved back to Burlington. But it was 79 that she was the women's club, which I didn't work, but I was volunteer and was in junior women's club and everything like that, doing a lot of volunteer work. And they wanted to have her speak because she was speaking. She was speaking full time, but it was growing,
Was this on the heels of Miss North Carolina?
This was what?
After Miss North Carolina?
Oh, yeah, this was 1979.
Oh, that's right, because she was in 63. Okay.
Right. She was Miss North Carolina in 63. So, yeah. She had, in 76, they moved back to Burlington.
Okay.
And she started, rather than going back to teaching, she started speaking full time. And she spoke, well, I'm sorry, the phone's ringing, but it will not be a real call anyway. I wouldn't answer it anyway. Because nobody calls me. She started speaking full time, and this women's club knew about her, and they wanted her for their state convention. And they knew I lived in the town she lived in. So they asked, could I contact her, which I did. And she spoke that year for the convention. And I rode with her to Raleigh, which was where the meeting was. And coming back, she was talking about how busy she was. And I said something like, well, you need to hire me to be your secretary. Ha ha.
Oh, my goodness.
And then the next day or so, she called and said, were you serious? And I said, no, I don't know if I'm serious or not. What do you mean? So I started working for her May 1st of that year. And I did do the interview, and it was real close to the story called Hiring Toni. And I'm not repeating it, but it really happened pretty much like she tells it. And so I started working just at I said, only if I can always work out of my house and always work flexible time.
Right.
Because I'm not going to miss a ball game or a dance program or anything else. I've got a carpool here and there. This is what I do. And she said, that sounds good to me. So that's how we always worked. And that's how we always continued to work forever.
Right.
It was, that way, but that's where we met. We met technically at Auburn and then back here.